Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Thursday night, and we are here live for your viewing pleasure. I am your host, Dixie Dave, along with the now retired Crusher Crossen.
Yep, retired. As Ricky likes to say, retired by Ricky Henry. Did you hear that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He starts out, I am the man that retired Crusher Crossen. I'm like, I'll tell you something. That kid's got a set of balls, doesn't he, to say talking like that after I just damn near beat his ass. You seen the slow motion we played last time? It was very that was a 3 count, Dave.
Well, the ref didn't count it, so
the ref did count it actually,
but he didn't acknowledge it.
Well, yeah. So get his head. Come on, Chris Mercer, come on.
I mean, you could make a claim that Ricky paid the ref off to not let you win, but
yeah. Now, nevertheless, it was a great match. I'm still pretty pumped over that match. That was a real. Another thing, Dave. I don't know if we mentioned this, but I was Ricky Henry's first American wrestling opponent.
Oh,
he had never faced anybody from America until Crusher. So he had Canada, and Paolo Tracy, but not America. So
yeah,
it's kind of a neat little factoid. But yeah, so, but on today's show, of course, and then, you heard the big news, right, with Ricky and the NWF belt. He's going to be facing formerly Mitch the Kid, just Mitch.
Yeah.
In April 25th. That's going to be a huge matchup. So, two of the, best in modern wrestling facing off. That's exactly what that belt's all about.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for that one. Excited for Ricky and Mitch. They're both going to deliver a really outstanding match. There's no doubt about that. For the NWF belt.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it should be great.
So, we'll say hello to our commenters.
Oh, Saffron Gear, Tina Louise joining us here. Yep. Made the official Crusher Crossen retirement gear. And it worked well. And
we may need to get a hold of her to get some Rewind jackets made.
Yeah, you keep wanting these Rewind jackets.
Well, I remember back in the day, you and Slick had your NWF jackets, so
we did. We'll have Tina on. In fact, we're going to talk about that because Tina's going to be joining us for NWF Forward next week, so it can be our special guest. She's going to come on with us, talk about gear, talk about our match that we had, talk about the gear that I had and everything. We'll talk about a lot of things, so it'll be a good show. That's in a week. Today, great, Dave, we've got
so that's a little, you and I have talked about this over the course of the week. This is kind of a different show for us. It's got a lot of studio stuff.
A lot of studio talk, a lot of interviews. We were at the Dri-Dock filming, but we didn't have the ring set up. Now we do show some wrestling matches. We take matches from the Anoka Armory that had just happened. So these were fresh matches from the Anoka Armory from our last show we did there that we used on this show. And we'll see a little bit of Crusher and Kelsey in the ring, as well as the Barbarians and Mr. Macho and Slick Steenerson going at it. Really good tag team match. We'll see that as well. I'm going to move my mic closer so you can hear me. And so that'll be good. And then, but then a lot of interviews and stuff. So we'll Dave and I will be talking because it's not necessarily going to sit here and listen to all that interview chatter. These are long, lengthy, table talk segments and stuff.
Right.
So we'll entertain you with our own stories as we go, like Dave and I like to do for those parts, those segments. And then, so, I tell you, I'm still recovering from the match though, Dave. I've got to say, I knew it was going to be rough, but when you go in there for 20 plus, we were in there for 30 minutes, start to finish, but bell to bell about 8.
Including introductions and
the whole 9 yards. It was a lot, and I knew I was going to be wore down, but man, it was what Ricky Henry doesn't realize, Dave, is it's easy right now for him at his age.
Right.
Wait till he gets into his 40s and 50s, and then he'll understand what I exactly went through to do that.
Right.
These guys, whippersnappers, don't get it. They just don't. You can tell them that all you want, and it's not going to register.
Well, I mean,
they will someday register.
In all honesty, we didn't think about the repercussions when we were that age.
No, and you could have told me that too, and I would have went one ear and out the other back then.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not blaming him, but I'm just saying when he gets older, he'll know. He'll understand.
Oh yeah. I mean, we feel it nowadays. I mean,
yeah.
We both work in the delivery industry, and
yeah,
we can tell by the end of the day.
And just think if I didn't get into shape, how rough that would have been. I mean, if I didn't man, that could have been really rough. But luckily I was working out and going to the gym and all that stuff and preparing for that match. So that helped, but it didn't, here's the thing. I'd go to the gym every other day, and I still go into the gym now. I don't go every day like I used to, but I'm going at least every other day. And when you can work out with the weights and do all the liftings and stuff, but then when you get in the ring and start going through the motions, there are muscles you use that you just cannot weight lift and train with.
Right.
So all of a sudden you're broken, sore, and you're like, why? Because I've been lifting weight. Well, you're not lifting. You don't work every muscle in the gym is the thing, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. The Undertaker said it best. There's being in shape, and then there's being in ring shape.
Exactly.
And, as I've said before, I haven't stepped foot in a ring in almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And to be honest, aside from getting in a ring, running the ropes, maybe, I've got no desire anymore to.
Well, Dave, running the ropes is totally different now. It's not like it was back in our day. You don't hit them Hogan style anymore. You don't go in sideways. I mean, you can, but now there's a technique to hitting the ropes, and then trying to do it the way they do it now. And it's like, for me, it's almost like trying to teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, it's exactly what it is. I mean, you and I have the old school mentality.
Yeah. But I was going to say what was funny about that, though, is that here I am trying to make sure I'm all brushed up on modern and everything, but then it turns out Nathan, who runs the promotion out there, he wanted me to be old school anyway. Yeah. He wanted to see the old school, because the story of the match was old school versus new modern wrestling.
Right.
And so that's the story we wanted to tell. So that was a relief, actually, when I heard that, because then it's like, great, this is just like going back in time and just doing it the way I used to.
Right.
And so that part of it was pretty cool. I didn't have a problem with that.
And we have another comment in here.
Saffron, have him check out the Bo Berry ones. What does he mean? What does she mean by that? Bo Berry?
She followed it up with,
we really crafted everything around your gym schedule and making sure that you didn't drop anymore. Yeah, because it was a concern that I'd lose too much weight. If anything, I gained a little bit, because when I got out to Ireland and stuff, man, the food's so good out there in Europe, and and you start enjoying it. And next thing you know, I probably put on, well, when I came back, I put on 8 more pounds. So I was 8 pounds heavier probably for the match even.
Right.
And then I was, but that was okay, because I can 8 pounds isn't going to make or break anything. But now I got to get rid of that 8 pounds again. So
right.
And that I'll do that. I'll drop that again. That won't be. Give me a month or so, then I'll shed that off again. But because I enjoy being in shape right now, and I don't want to go back to when I was 65 pounds heavier.
Right.
Don't want to do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And we got some exciting shows. By the way, Dave, because you forgot to mention it, I'm going to mention it. What is coming up on the Video Network in about 3 days? And let's take a look and see what's coming up in the Video Network. I believe it's I think it's the Garage Studio Days. There's going to be some earlier stuff. So let's take a look. And when we see this little short promo, we'll be right back with you, and we'll get started on the watch along with this show that we're going to watch today, and more stories and insights.
Well, I got one more thing to cover before we go to the video or go to the video of the day. So go ahead and play the preview for the Video Network.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll play the preview then. All right. So here we go. Let's get to that preview. This is what's coming up, folks. Yep, it is a garage taping. So we're going to go back to the garage. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Butcher Bulldog. Chains and everything. Back. Ooh, with a elbow into the head. Oh, another elbow. Then he only gets to the... Oh! Back goes Butcher.
Today's the day, man. I'm getting my title shot against that mosquito Ace.
By Dr. D. And another elbow smash. And 3 elbow smashes.
How was your match against the Butcher?
No sweat, man. That Butcher's a fat lard.
A fat lard.
I have a surprise for Crusher Crossen. He doesn't know what it is. I haven't told no one about it.
Kick from Electrifying Eric. And a fist are out of it. Oh, is Electrifying Eric a smash to the arm? Oh, and a backbreaker. And another one.
And I am going to win. There's no way I'm going to lose a match that I made. I'm not going to be humiliated.
Now he is getting a body slam. Oh, and he almost power presses him. Oh, and he Rough Ryan flips in Crusher Crossen. What is this? Figure 4, it looks like to me. Is Electrifying Eric trying to get in there? Backside of the neck. Oh, no! As in Michael Madness, who is accompanying Energy Erickson, starts working on Ace.
Ironworks. I've been training every darn place you can train, and I can tell you, I am ready for this match with Ace. He's never going to be ready. I know he's not ready, because I just ape, you know, I don't even know his right foot from his left foot. You don't know his right foot from his left foot, this guy.
Up against the ropes. Oh, and what a clothesline is Chad's. Oh, no, Chains! He is strangling him. This match also has gone out of control here, folks.
Team champion. Right here. You hurt me! Give me that chain! You hurt me!
There's no order in here. The ref is knocked out. Everybody is in except... Doesn't matter. That's all I'm giving as a hint. Boy, but when I step in there...
It's the best match I've ever seen. So chaos, man. Ooh. Close line. Kid USA Kelsey, for some odd prone reason, does not want to get in the ring with Cowboy. Crusher Crossen comes in, but he gets a nice elbow there from Tag Team Champions. But he misses. Oh! Not to stop, folks. Oh, I'm telling you. Kyle, how do you feel about this match?
I'll tell you something, Dave. It just brings a smile to my face because, you know, yeah, it was chaotic in those days, but so much fun. You can see the fun we were all having back then. It was such a blast.
You know, that's what the NWF has always been about, is guys who love wrestling having fun together.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for my little thing I wanted to say to our Instagram viewers, you know, you got half hour to an hour that you can watch this show on Instagram.
Yeah.
But we can't see your comments if you comment on Instagram. So if you're watching us on Instagram, jump over here to YouTube. The link should be right there. And
yeah, I mean,
over here
if you're on
YouTube.
Instagram, just go to the YouTube link is in our Instagram channel information. There you have additional links. Just go to our YouTube channel and you'll see we are live. And then you can just come right into YouTube here.
Yeah.
And that's what we recommend doing.
As you've seen with Saffron Gear, we don't charge you for comments.
Right.
You know,
I mean, and you know, by the way, I don't know why all the comments aren't coming in. She clarified what she meant. I'm looking at the YouTube chat screen separately, and I see they're just comments are coming in kind of slow right now for some reason, guys. I don't know what's going on there. But that Bo Berry she's talking about is looking. Those are some other ring jackets she made.
Oh, okay.
So she said check those out, and maybe. But not necessarily ring jackets. I don't think that's what you wanted. You were wanting more like just jackets to wear, right?
Right.
But ring jacket, I mean, could be worn anytime, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So, and now they come in. See, these comments are coming a little bit late, but yeah, see, she's clarifying. But yeah, so this show to date. Now, so what this show is this was Studio Taping 103. It was recorded at the Dri-Dock to build up what we were calling WrestleVision, which was the new format we were going to do at the Dri-Dock on a monthly basis. And it's going to be we were advertising 3 1-hour cable TV tapings. That's what we did the first time. And then we realized that was too much. So we scaled it back to 2 1-hour tapings that we did going forward after this one, because we realized that was just way too much wrestling to try to squeeze in there for that night. And the very first, the shows we're promoting here was going to be the rematch with me and Kelsey, because this was just after the Anoka Armory where Kelsey got the belt on that technicality, which was we should have done the proper finish. I'm still not a fan of that finish, but anyways, he got the belt that way, and so it was a rematch. It was the only rematch I got with Kelsey, and Kelsey kept the belt. But then what happened, Dave?
Well, then, the shows at the Dri-Dock start getting booked. Kelsey was scheduled for a match against Thandar. And yeah, Thandar could work a little stiff once in a while.
Yeah.
Kelsey chickened out on the match, no-showed the match, and per the stipulations of the era, you no-show a match if you're a champion, the title is automatically forfeited to your opponent.
I believe the storyline was he lost the belt in Milwaukee or something, but behind the scenes reality of it was he was stripped.
Yep, he was stripped of it. And Thandar was announced as the new champion to face Grizzly Stevens.
Yeah. These kind of things happen. You got to do something, guys. I mean, you got a program to go on. What are we supposed to do? Kelsey's not going to show up. Part of why Kelsey was no-showing was a lot of things. He didn't like the direction that, because I had just sold the league to Ernie Ellis.
Right.
Dirty Ernie. And I was still involved. I was heading up the production side of it. I was handling the television production, the cable TV show and everything, and the syndication. I was because they had no clue how to do any of that.
Right.
So they needed me, honestly, to do that for them. So, and I didn't mind. I always loved video editing anyway and doing all the production side. And I already had the connections to send the tapes out. So it was a very simple process. So it wasn't hard for me to do.
Right.
So I was overseeing that. Plus I would help oversee the new wrestlers coming in, because they would usually send them to me to get them smartened up to have matches. The way training was done in these days, in these 1980s, not everybody was an Eddie Sharkey school of wrestling. A lot of your training was done. Well, even Eddie did it this way too. You do a bit of training in the gym, but then most of your training came in matches.
Right.
You get thrown in with somebody who was a little more experienced, and that's where you got the rest of your training. It was on shows. And we did the same. In fact, we did more of that because we didn't have a facility to train in. So when a new guy would come along, we'd have the ring set up early. We'd get in there and we'd start working with them and show them some basic fundamental stuff to get them enough to get their feet wet and get in the match. And then the rest of their experience would come from doing match after match after match.
Right.
And that's how it was done. And it was, you got to remember, old school wrestling was a little more simplistic than it is today.
Yeah.
You could get away with that kind of stuff.
Plus, kayfabe was real at that point.
Well,
kayfabe was a thing back then.
It was probably phasing out though by this time. This was late 89 or 88. So we're kind of, once Vince made his big announcement, kayfabe started vanishing. But
to us,
kayfabe
was real.
Right. We still wanted, I was never a fan. I remember when Vince made that announcement of sports entertainment, and I'm like, what are you doing? I was not a fan. Now we knew wrestling was a work from the 2020 report from Stossel. And I understand that Vince did this because he didn't want to pay the
athletic
commissions
commission
and stuff. So there was a reason why Vince was doing it, because he's trying to get out of that.
Right.
But at the same time, I just didn't like the optics of it. I thought this is dumb. Like, because we grew up on kayfabe. We grew up on that's the way it was. And
oh yeah.
So we always wanted you to, think it was real. Now, that was always the mindset. Make it believable.
I mean, with me, I never even really smartened up my family when I was part of the NWF.
It's funny you say that. Ricky Henry still doesn't smarten up his own family. Like, he never tells them finishes.
Yeah.
Well, like when me and Ricky had the match, his mom, and I talked to her at the end. I went out and talked to her, because I talked to her. If you notice, I went down and I whispered to her, and all I told her is, I'm going to go easy on your son. Don't worry. And then it's more like he should have went easy on me with that elbow drop, Dave.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I had talked to her and I said, so, what'd you think? She liked it. And she goes, yeah, she goes, we were cheering you, but talking to me, we were cheering you, but part of me was so hoping that the belt would stay with Ricky. And so that, she didn't know. Like, right. He doesn't tell them. Like, he keeps it. Ricky is very kayfabe-like that way.
Well, that's why he fits in with you and I.
Yeah. And he loves Ricky loves the storytelling part of wrestling. So he loves doing kayfabe.
Right.
Being in character and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I mean, it's part of the fun of wrestling is the storyline side of it.
Yeah. It's the soap opera side. It's the other half of wrestling. And it's not just in the ring wrestling. It's the character development. It's the storytelling of your character. And, remember back in the day, Dave, we always used to watch it for the interviews. Like, the interviews were a big part of the wrestling.
Exactly. I mean, I miss the old studio shows.
Right. Where it was like literally in a studio, in a television studio. And you had your interview area, live kind of interviews in front of a live crowd that can hear.
Right.
And sometimes interact with that as well. And AWA did it that way. Memphis did it that way. The TBS did it that way. Dallas. Well, Dallas started doing Sportatorium, though. They did a little bit bigger kind of venue, but the same thing. They were doing interviews live right outside the ring.
Yep.
After the matches.
And, speaking of Dallas, one thing I really enjoyed about Dallas, watching it is, they let the kids come up around the ring before the match and get autographs from the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Now you've got the big heavy barricades up next to the ring and
barricades all over the place. And then, yeah. Like I was telling, I think I was telling John and Rick and I was out there, back in the day, it was a different situation. When WWF came to town, they would use Eddie Sharkey to referee the matches locally. These were house shows. And so Eddie was reffing. So because Eddie Sharkey was reffing, because I was training with him and stuff, and I had a relationship with him, I could go knock on the door. Security would open up the door and say, yep. And I said, yeah, I'm here with, I know Eddie Sharkey, and I'm with Eddie. And then they would go verify. They say, Eddie, do you know this guy? And they said, yep. He goes, okay, come on in. And I would go into the back. That's how it was. Now, you don't get in the back unless you're a hired talent, extra or something. There's just that kind of thing could never fly these days.
Or, if you know the right people.
Yeah, but even so, they're very, very, very selective and let who gets back there. So it's like, it's just not like it used to be.
I do kind of understand that, though, because, the locker room area is supposed to be the safe zone for the wrestlers.
Well, yeah, but see, like, I would get in the back, but not necessarily in the locker room. I say the locker rooms were in the area of the back.
Right.
So the wrestlers had their privacy, but I'd be in the open area of the back area.
Like the gorilla position.
The gorilla positions, yes. And so, and a lot of times the guys wouldn't be hanging in the locker rooms anyway. They'd be out talking. And so, yeah, you could talk to people. And I just remember the guys that were just rude. Rick Rude. Very aptly named.
Yeah.
He was not a pleasant guy to talk with.
Oddly enough, back in the day, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, they were tools. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they like to party. I mean, they would always, in the AWA days, they were constantly living it up. You know, they were living that life of the Midnight Rockers.
Yeah. I mean, you'll understand what I'm saying, and if Wade is out there, he'll understand. But I remember back late 80s, early 90s, the AWA did a show at Anoka Ramsey there in Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had to walk past everybody to get back to the locker room area. And Marty and Sean were on the show. They were facing the Nasty Boys that night. And I asked for an autograph. They were like, okay, let us go drop our bags and we'll come back out and sign. Never came back out.
Yeah. Oh, they probably are busy getting ready to party it up.
Oh yeah.
They said they were Midnight Rockers in the real life.
Yeah. And then another one that I'm
speaking of Wayne. Yeah. He was at that Coon Rapids event, so he really knows what you're talking about. I don't remember the Coon Rapids show. The only time I remember AWA doing anything was the Ice Arena in Anoka.
No, it
was 84. Hogan just left. Ventura just left. The main event was Baron Von Raschke against Billy Robinson, and I walked in on them guys because I knew where the locker rooms were in the Ice Arena. I literally walked in the door, Dave.
Oh.
And they were going over their match, and Billy Robinson looked up at me and said, "Can you give us a little bit of privacy?" And I'm a 12-year-old at the time, 13-year-old kid, and I'm like,
"Yep."
And to that point there, I thought, F you two. I never liked Billy Robinson from that point on. But look, he was just doing kayfabe. He's doing his. They're gonna do that. They don't care if you're a kid or an adult or whatever.
You know, another one more recent that I can tell you was a tool was Shelton Benjamin.
All right, but Dave, before you get into more stories, I got to get the show playing because everybody wants to see wrestling,
right?
Or at least somewhat. So you can keep talking, but I'm going to get this show started.
You know, I had a friend that ran a bar out in South Dakota, and he had WWE connections. And it was right before Shelton went back to WWE. He showed up for the show at the bar, intermission time, and he said he'd sign autographs after the show.
Yeah.
Everybody's hanging out to meet him, and he snuck out a back door. I mean, he collected his pay from my friend, and he took off.
Interesting, Dave. This intro has some highlights of the Armory event that got recorded over by Steve Engstrom.
Yeah.
Every time I see clips from that show that we don't have anymore, I think of that incident. Yep. Oh, if we only could go back in time, I would have never borrowed the tape to Troy. Then we'd still have it. This used to be the final countdown, Dave, the music to this intro.
Yep.
It's kind of similar. Royalty free now.
Well, now that we've got monetized, we got to do royalty free music.
Yeah, we keep the music royalty free. Dri-Dock, all entertainment, sports bar.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
there's
this
Jason
is
Klassen.
NWF announcer
and now
Jason
the
Klassen
Dri-Dock
here
is a
with Jeff
daycare.
Dunsmore.
Yeah.
We're outside the Spring Lake Park Dri-Dock here. So, Jeff, I understand we have a big card coming up on October 27th of this year.
October 27th is a big night, Jason.
So yeah, this was the transition.
I'm looking forward to
League
it.
was just sold to
It's the
Ernie.
new NWF.
And this is a show that we were doing to bridge the old to the new.
We're going to be getting on
right.
a little bit later on. We're talking Crusher Crossen. We all know who he is. Coming back, and this will surprise a lot of people, Dirty Ernie. Dirty Ernie is coming back, and Grizzly Stevens is coming back, and just a whole mess of wrestlers coming back to the Dri-Dock.
Jeff was a great talker too.
Oh yeah.
And,
I mean, even when we had our little get together in Anoka.
Non-alcoholic lounge. Now what that is that there is
I mean,
no alcohol
he was such a good announcer. and
Yeah.
like acting promoter. I say acting promoter because Ernie was promoting. Like he owned it. He was doing the matches. But Jeff was just a great voice piece.
As a matter of fact, for those of you that are out there from Spring Lake Park,
And there's the Dri-Dock right there. Looks bigger back then.
Across the street from there. But we're looking forward to it.
Oh, everything was bigger back then when we were younger.
And the bell time is going to be at 7 o'clock.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here from Mr. Dinsmore. In a minute here, we will be going into the Dri-Dock itself, showing you, giving you a look around, and possibly a surprise interview or two.
You know, we should have done that. We never did do a tour inside, but we should have.
27th at 7 p.m. at the Dri-Dock. WrestleVision, 3 1-hour cable TV tapings. NWF.
So NWF
presents
WrestleVision. That's what we called it.
Dr. Dread, Grizzly Stevens, Dirty Ernie, The Destructors, Kid Kelsey, Mr.
You know, we're actually selling the fact that it's cable TV tapings. That's part of our pitch here.
Yeah.
You know, because even as fans, they're like, yeah, I want to be maybe getting. They'll get a glimpse of me. I'll be on cable as well, you know?
Yep.
I'm Jeff Dinsmore. We have some interviews to talk about here in our next upcoming match at the Dri-Dock, October the 27th. And I want to bring in our first interviewer, I should say interviewee, the former champion,
Crusher Crossen.
Crusher Crossen. I didn't see the matches at the Armory, but I heard that there were some shenanigans.
We're not going to listen to this interview.
Well, Jeff, to tell you quite blunt, as far as
because you know I don't like my interviews, Dave. You know that.
I
was
know.
Doing my best, and Kelsey, he's a good friend of mine. At least he was.
It is nice to see it restored,
he
though.
wanted a
You know,
shot
a little
so
bit
bad,
clearer
so
footage now.
I gave it to him.
You know, the only thing I'll say is what happened to all the hair?
If I were to be disqualified, the title
Well,
goes to
because
Joe Blow, but I was
everybody says I look like Shawn
was I?
Michaels, so I keep it short now so that you can
Now,
have the
even
Shawn
back in
Michaels
February,
look, because
you
everybody
were
says I look like
friends.
Shawn Michaels.
You two have known each other for a long time. Now, my
So yeah,
personal
if I grew it
feelings
out long, it would look
the
like
tide
this.
started to turn.
But I keep it
thought
short.
You maybe would have the upper hand because you more or less trained him.
Yeah, I did. You know, and I have.
Yeah, this is
second
Kelsey
thoughts if I should have done
did
that.
a heel turn. He's
Because
Kid
this
Hot
is- we're
Stuff
talking
Kelsey
about
now.
Kid Kelsey, not Kid USA Kelsey. That's yesterday, and we've got Mick Weller in the scene now.
Yeah, my
Mick
style. What
Weller,
would you
his
say my
manager,
interview
who's
style
from
was
what,
like, Dave?
Sidley, Australia. He's another headache. Now he was
I
in
don't
a
know,
match,
Nick
and I don't know
Bockwinkel-ish?
where Rick Pitts was. If he was in his
Kind of a
nightmare or
Nick
what, he wasn't paying
Bockwinkel
attention because I
/
was. Well, let's go to the footage if we can.
Let's take a look at
You
this.
know,
To build an addition to his house to keep it in.
Here comes that
Flat
great drop kick, you
burn.
guys.
He's trying to take away some of those. Hey, big drop.
Better
the
Burns
drop
back.
kick,
That'll
the
rearrange it
infamous
down.
drop kick.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to bail out.
I ended up hitting Canary, or I can only say Canary Kid. I ended up hitting the Globetrotter with that drop kick in the end of the match.
You can't get
Yep.
a big blow arm to the back of Nick Weller.
That was a big
who is
question.
Kid
Can Crusher
Kelsey's
still throw the drop
Kelsey's
kick?
back in the ring. He's going over to try to
see
assist
Waller
his
over there,
manager.
Kelsey made the claim that he doesn't think I could get up anymore to do that drop kick.
Take a look at Rick Pitts.
And we
telling
had Kelsey
Crusher
and Ace
Crossen
on
to go
with
to
us
his
a while
corner.
back.
Getting back in the ring now is Kid
And
Kelsey.
I came on and talked to Ricky and Ben.
I think Nick Weller
Yep.
must be passed out on the far side of the ring.
He's hiding out where he's safe down there.
By the way, Dave, it's interesting. You know how our ring here is a breakdown ring. It's got a center spring and everything.
Right.
Crossing on the ropes, Kid Kelsey. Kelsey looks a lot stronger now.
There was a video. I don't know if you've seen it. I should have sent it to you. Of
Look out! Oh, he got him.
they showed
Nick
the
Weller
ring.
Underneath
Somebody
though.
was converting
The
their
mat.
ring
And
to
Rick
a
Pitts
spring
didn't have any
system
idea
again. They were
Underneath
going
the
from a
ring came up
flexi
with
steel
his
to a
machete
spring
hit.
system.
Crusher Crossen right
And they
in
were
the
saying,
back
well,
kidneys.
people are saying, everybody's asking you, why are you doing that? Why are you doing
He's
that?
one
And he
tough
said,
wrestler.
because
Now he's got
when you
Kelsey
use the ring
down.
as much as we do and we bump as
Out,
much, the
there it
flexi
is.
steel will
Kelsey's got
warp
Crossen.
on us.
Got his
And we
attention,
have way
Kelsey
too much
took
bumping going on, so the
Nick
spring
Weller
system's
again
going to
with
make
a
our ring last
shot
longer.
at the back of the leg
Right.
of Crossen.
And they're very
Crossen
true.
Into the turnbuckle. He almost hit the pipe.
So yeah, I think
there.
that there's I think you might see a trend of that happening, where you're going to see a lot of spring system rings come back into play again.
Crusher
Right.
Crossen
Because people are
managed to
finding their rings are
avoid
getting
hitting the
really wore
post
down
with
with
his
this
head, but
flexi
he caught it
steel.
with his left shoulder.
Like
Now
it's
put
really
back in
taking
the
a
ring
beating.
by
They're getting
Kelsey.
warped.
Oh, he got back in.
Yeah.
Now the idea is you turn the steel the other way and then it starts going the other way, but
Kelsey throws Crossen into the turnbuckle.
that's kind of a silly way to do
where Nick
things.
Weller grabs him with the buckle.
Just use a damn spring.
He's got some shot on the rope.
Right now,
But yeah,
Rick
they were
Pitts trying to
converting their
chase
ring to a
out
spring
Nick
system.
Weller out of the ring.
You know,
Oh man.
seeing Mick
Big
using
suplex
that
there.
rope
This Nick
there made
Weller's
me
got so many
think.
He's got so many pockets in there.
I
can't
watched
believe it. He's
Monday
got
Night Raw
different
this last
objects, only
week,
one.
Yeah.
Sticks,
and
bolts,
there
chairs.
was a women's tag match.
Right now, Kelsey with Crossen.
And one of the women was making it very obvious that she was holding the tag rope.
Exchanging a few words.
Yeah.
Nick Willard prances around the ring.
I immediately thought about you.
Well, you know, it's interesting with the tag ropes because did you notice, Dave, that in order to be a legal tag, you got to be over the top rope?
At 183 pounds.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh.
And by the way, I got to make a correction. For the longest time, I used to remember how we talked about hip tosses and veal throws. We always say veal throw with a V.
I think so. I think Crossen was trying to.
And Ricky said veal throw with a B. He said veal. And I thought, Ricky, you're wrong. It's veal. Actually, Ricky's correct.
Oh, yeah?
If you Google this, it even says it's often mispronounced as veal throw, but it's actually veal throw with a B, and it's named after some guy by the name of Beal that came up with this move decades ago.
Yep.
Very interesting. It's very commonly mispronounced as veal throw, though. So it's.
And I see Wayne commented again.
Where Nick Willard hit Crossen with his machete.
He says George's and Roper's and Fridley is now a funeral home. I thought they tore the whole place down and rebuilt a whole new building.
Kelsey having a few words with Nick Weller. Comes back with a forearm on Crossen.
Or did they keep the building? I don't know.
Kicks Kelsey and
I could have sworn
down.
down one, just rebuilt completely from the ground up.
Hey, a big elbow smash.
Yeah, I know our Dayton arena was torn down.
That is a chokehold.
Kelsey's got Crossen in
The Dayton's, it was still there when I looked on the Google Maps a while ago.
Okay.
Awesome shot of that chokehold.
Yeah, you can see it on the Google Map on the street view.
A complete chokehold.
The windows are still painted black and everything.
Hey, he's got something again.
Yeah. Well, how can they fix that?
Down.
Rick Pitts is knocked out. Now it's going to be utter chaos.
Yeah, this is just the last 5 minutes of this match.
Complain about
I don't know what he's got over there. Another foreign object.
But you know, for 70 people in the Armory this night, they are sure a lively crowd.
Really
Give me a break. You got to be kidding.
Pitts has called the match.
And the reason we had 70 people, we were going head-to-head against the NWA, Dave.
Yep.
Obvious. I would say, unbiased, I would say you got ripped
Not
off.
planned.
Which explains why I was not there.
I don't know what I want to say.
That's why a lot of people weren't there. I remember I ran into
but I'll tell you this much.
Wade Keller with Pro Wrestling Torch, you know, when he started doing his newsletter. He wanted to come to our show. But because NWA was in town, he had to go to that one.
I got a rematch, and I'm excited because, Kelsey, you never pinned me, and I didn't submit, yet you're the world champion.
And isn't that the truth?
I got some news for you here.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about...
Nothing could make it worse right now.
We're going to be talking about the card, and after we come back right after this, I've got some information for you. I'm going to ask you to stick around. We're going to talk about some of the new talent we've got here, some of the old people coming back. I shouldn't say old people, but you know what I mean. We'll be right back with more NWF.
Yeah.
Don't go away.
Jeff was a great mouthpiece.
Wrestling fans coming October 27th at 7 p.m. at the Dri-Dock.
You know, it's one reason I'd love to get him on again.
Yeah.
All Pro Wrestling presents
Yeah, he's always a great
Wrestling.
conversation.
Crusher Crossen, Dr. Dread, Grizzly Stevens, Dirty Ernie, The Destructors, Kid Kelsey, Mr. Macho, Slick Steenerson, and more. Tuesday.
He'll have to find the hood, though.
At 7 p.m. at the Dri-Dock, 786-3375.
WrestleVision.
WrestleVision, NWF, All Pro Wrestling. Be there.
1987, folks.
I'm Jeff Dinsmore. My guest at this time is the former, and I hate to use that term, but the former NWF champion.
A term Crusher still hates to hear.
You've been in the organization. You've been wrestling for a number of years. I'm going to name some of these people.
That's true. And you know, the thing is, like with Ricky Henry starting out by saying, I'm the man that retired Crusher Crossen. I knew the only bad part about letting Ricky go over is I will have to hear that for the rest of time now. He's gloating that he ended up beating me.
Not only can he punch and he can kick and he can really
and Ricky wastes no time to start doing
He's
that.
great, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the organization in the future.
I have yet to see him. We're going to be talking to him a little later on in the show. He is in town. He is going to be here on the 27th. Also, Dirty Ernie.
Dirty Ernie.
Well, now I don't know about Dirty Ernie. Again, he's a good wrestler. You cannot take that away from him. For a man like Dirty Ernie,
thing is, though, we never get to see much of his Dirty Ernie gimmick. He went to that stupid Russian character with us for a long time with the Dri-Dock.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to wrestle twice and take up ring time from other people, so he'd only do one gimmick or the other.
You may be interested in this next gentleman. I watched a couple of matches with you two. I'm just going to roll a little footage here and see if you remember this gentleman here.
This is a very rare clip. That's Dr. Dread against Crusher Crossen. One of the few times Crusher was pinned. This was the very first Dri-Dock show we ever did, and it was done with NCWA.
Right.
Yeah, back in March of '87.
What's this guy doing back? Who was the authority to bring him in here? Now, you know, sure, Grizzly Stevens, he's great. Dirty Ernie, hey, he's good too. But what about Dr. Dread? Now, Dr. Dread, you're dealing in my personal business in this very same complex. He's the guy who
camera's out of focus
sidewinded me in. I almost, if it was the title match, I would have lost it. What's going on?
That's right. It was a non-title match. That's why.
Time at the Dri-Dock,
that's why the belt didn't change.
Dr. Dread. Last time at the Dri-Dock, as you just saw,
hit me with the rolling nickels or something.
Square that he pinned you in the middle of the ring with a little help from, well, you know who we're talking about there, Pretty Boy Taylor. He was the man that. Well, brought him back in, so to speak. I don't know how he got back in. I know he was suspended, and his lawyers have been working. He got with the promoters.
This is all kayfabe, you guys.
Here on that card on the 27th. Now, he's claiming he knows who he wants. He knows who he wants. He won't tell anybody. All I know is he's claiming he wants a match.
But this was a big. This was what we, you know, storytelling, Dave. Storytelling in interviews. That's what we're doing here.
I don't want to be no lowlife here and just say I don't want him around, but I'll tell you this much.
I don't like my interviews though.
I've got a title match. This is something, you know, that you work hard for. You want to get at a title match. And I don't want Dr. Dread in the ringside area to interfere and ruin it for me because I already got ruined by Mick Weller. And I have to worry about Mick Weller. I got to worry about Kid Kelsey. Now I got to worry about Dr. Dread.
Well, the news I was telling you here, and that news is that I've been with the promoters for the last 2 weeks. I did see the footage from the Armory. You have got your match with Kid Kelsey on the 27th here at the Dri-Dock.
That's all I asked for. But like I said, you know,
yeah,
I don't want to be, you know,
that was like I said, Ernie, when they took it over, they honored a lot of our stuff. They gave me the rematch with Kelsey right away.
You know, that's all I want. You know, that's all I want because I want the world title back. I'm not gonna. You
know who else no showed this very first
I just want the championship because that's
who is that?
Like he didn't show up for like Kelsey showed up for Wrestle Division the first one.
That's all I want. Right
but
now, Jeff, and
Slick Steenerson,
because, you know,
huh?
Well, him and Macho were supposed to, you know, tag team champs, and Macho showed up, but Steenerson did not. And Steenerson never came to Dri-Dock. Steenerson had nothing to do with this era of the NWF. There was something that Troy did not like with this. He did not want to have any part of it. Very strange. I still don't know why.
Dr. Dread, everybody's going to be here.
But,
well, I mean,
I tried to get Troy to come into it even after he didn't show up, and he just did not want to have anything to do with it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which is odd because as soon as Ed Sharkey popped up, because, okay, my memory goes like this. You and Troy, after the Dri-Dock era, after you got the ring back from Dirty Ernie and set it up out at Troy's, you guys were talking about relaunching the NWF.
Yeah.
And then...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
And then Ed Sharkey popped up, and you guys went to go work for Ed instead of
none other than Grizzly
bringing the NWF back.
Yeah, and Troy didn't have a problem with that, but he did not want to have anything to do with the Dri-Dock stuff and Dirty Ernie and all that.
My friend, how's things going?
Oh, very, very, very
well.
He
just was not
we're
interested.
All glad that you're finally back and kicking.
Well, it's good to be back. You know, I've been gone for the last 4 or 5 months. I've been out sharpening up my wrestling skills. Went back up home for a while up to the.
You know, Grizzly Stevens really heavy right now. Here in this interview, you can see he actually toned up pretty. I would say after a couple, 2 or 3 months, Grizzly lost a lot of weight. From this time, like he really was looking pretty good.
So what exactly do you have planned for this Dri-Dock card coming up?
Right now, he's a little bit heavy. Kind of see it in his gut and everything.
Yeah.
The main reason I came back is for security reasons. I've heard some of the names that have been coming back into the NWF, and I realize that ain't nobody going to be secure in the NWF. You got names like Dirty Ernie, Dr. Dread, Pretty Boy Taylor, these people have been thorns in my side for a very long time.
As we know.
And I could handle any single one of those characters one-on-one, but these guys are into 2-on-1, 3-on-1 situations. And some of the people in the NWF, they can't handle people jumping them from behind like no one else can. You know, it's a very strange situation. So I'm just here to basically keep an eye on people's backs. People like Crusher Crossen. He and I have tagged up on a couple of occasions in some TV matches. He's a good wrestler. And
some of the NCWA stuff we did at the Dayton, Grizzly and I were teamed up.
That was a crying shame. So I'm here to make sure that sort of thing doesn't happen again.
Very capable indeed, ladies and gentlemen. If you will stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
Right back at you.
And what do we got? Are we going to have a wrestling match? I don't know. I can't remember. More action after this is what we have. This is probably public service announcements and stuff.
Yep.
If I had to guess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with more
there's probably just
action
public
and more
service
interviews.
announcements.
Coming in right now, I'm instructed, is none other than Jeff Dinsmore.
Mean man. How you been? It's been a long time.
I've been doing good, buddy.
Oh, it's a long time. I'll tell you, Jason, I don't know if you've ever seen this gentleman wrestle before, but
Let's show some highlights of Grizzly, I think.
And we were talking out here a little earlier about Dr. Dread. He's coming back. I don't know who he's after. He's after somebody. I don't know whether it's you or whether it's Crusher Crossen or maybe even you, Jason. I don't know. But
it's really funny.
It's crazy.
Obviously, Dr. Dread is Jeff Dinsmore, the interviewer.
Right.
With all the dirty tactics
and
that he uses,
when at this day when we're doing this taping, we tried doing an interview with Dr. Dread talking. He had a back. He didn't have the mask. He had his back. And he had a towel over his head, and he was trying to talk like Dr. Dread. And you could tell it was Jeff. Like, Jeff, this is not going to work. They're going to know it's you. It's like, scrap. Let's not use any of it. We actually tried doing an interview with him. That was kind of funny.
Sneak attack somebody from behind. He'll jump somebody from behind with a steel chair. You know, the man is slightly nuts.
Well, you know, as it is,
Comment just popped in.
He feels that you're responsible for him out of town. I don't know
my Achilles heel, if you will, the thorn in my side. Tony Begley himself joining in.
Have a little interview from
Yo.
I've talked with the
he's been an instigator, Dave. He's trying to
where it came from.
How
we doing today, Tony?
Always talking smack with Crusher is what he does. Telling me that he's just like Ricky. He keeps gloating how Ricky beat me.
Well,
I mean, you know, he's proud of Ricky for that.
You just make sure that there's someone.
Yeah, but what about Crusher? What about Crusher? What about Raven? What about Crusher?
Well, you know,
what about me?
Crusher, I have come to realize this quite a while back.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's something you need to come to terms with now, too. You and I are the past. These guys like Ricky, Tony, Smalls, they're the future of the business.
Now, there's a highlight of Grizzly Stevens. This is from that March card that Steve recorded over that I always talk about.
Yep.
You see, it was a really good crowd. We had nearly 300 people there. And this was a great show. And I wish we still had this. This is the NWF and NCWA dual event. And I promoted the damn thing. Like, I did all the legwork for this show. So and what did they do, Dave? What did Steve and Larry do at the end of the night?
This was the show that they screwed us over.
They took the ring, they took all the money, everything. We were left with nothing.
This is what almost killed Crusher's love for pro wrestling.
I was a damn mushroom cloud. Yeah.
Well, you see what I mean?
Tony says, what about Crusher? He lost.
I'm looking forward to it. October 27th,
yeah, but Tony,
here at the Dri-Dock in Spring Lake Park.
you got it, Tony. Even you have to admit, I did a lot better than you ever thought I was going to do. You said that I shouldn't even show up because I wouldn't be able to perform or do any moves or anything. And I proved you wrong, Tony. Yes, I did. And you know what else Tony wishes? Tony wishes he could get in the ring with Crusher because he wants to get a shot because he thinks he's something. You're a referee, Tony. When you when you get trained in professional wrestling, maybe I will give you an opportunity. But you are a referee.
Well, you know, I hate to word it this way, but by the time Tony's ready for you, Crusher, you'll probably be about 70 years old. You don't want to be aloof then.
Well, I don't want to be. I sure as hell don't want to be a Ric Flair coming back several times either.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought I just heard something. You know, a lot of times this stuff is just fake news, but I thought I heard that Ric Flair is talking about coming back again.
You know, the man needs to realize he's past his prime. He almost died last time in the ring.
Oh, he can hardly walk. I mean,
right now, coming in
he has the old man shuffle.
Capital of the world, Nashville,
Yep.
Tennessee.
I mean, yeah, he shouldn't be
doing
anything.
Newcomer to the National
Dion
Wrestling
Dallas, this is a great
Federation
character.
and all-around
I like
wrestler.
this character.
So, do you have anything to say?
Yeah,
to
heel,
anyone out there?
like a Tony Begley.
Not a heck of a lot, but
Yep.
about the only thing I'm here to do is just clean up most of this Yankee
Let's
garbage
see.
that they got going around. I just don't like the way y'all wrestle.
I don't want to hurt the
I'll show
elderly,
you
is
how
why I
us
won't fight you.
Texans get it done.
Tony, you're not qualified
Right.
to fight me.
Right,
You're
ladies
not
and gentlemen,
in
you
my
heard it right
league.
here, sounding a bit
So like I said,
hostile,
if you get trained,
have you heard anything
maybe
about,
maybe
You know-
Crusher may consider. Maybe.
Okay, I'm going to
Dread,
pipe up
Crusher
here on this
Crossen,
little
anything you're
deal
looking
with
at right
Tony.
now?
I heard it.
You know,
There's
Tony,
wimps up
here's
here.
the deal.
Is that the ones you were talking about?
Okay, I may not have had the
Well,
greatest
I
win-loss
don't know if I
record in
can
the
necessarily
NWF,
say they're wimps. I've
but you know,
seen
I'm more
Grizzly Stevens in
qualified
action.
to
Let me
wrestle
tell you,
Crusher
he's
than you
far
are.
from a wimp.
Do you wrestle at all?
You know,
He's a good
No,
referee
I-
from what I've been told.
I
oh,
don't
he may be a
wrestle
good
myself.
referee,
I'm an
but you
announcer,
know,
ladies
before
and
he can be
gentlemen,
qualified
I don't know
even
if I want to be here right now. Grizzly
come close to
Stevens,
wrestling
not looking
you,
too enthused, not looking too pretty.
he'd have to prove
Grizzly.
himself
We
against
have
the
Grizzly
NWF.
Stevens coming out
First
and
thing I'd like to say is
confronting.
we'd like to welcome you to the
This is how
organization
Crusher would
in
confront
real
Tony
style.
Begley right here.
If you think we Yankees, as you so politely put it,
We'll
are
just watch
wimps,
this little segment here, David.
let me tell you something.
Then we'll
young
get back to
man.
the comments.
We can show you a whole heck of a lot about how it's done right in the northern states.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here.
Yeah.
Grizzly
I don't
Stevens
think
not
Dion should be
sounding too
messing with
happy about
with Grizzly,
Dynamite
just like
Dallas
Tony shouldn't be messing
just
with Crusher.
had to say here, any reaction you have?
That's about all I have to say for you, boy.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
Dion was
slightly
playing like a
hostile
southern
there, Dynamite
smart ass
Dion
hick,
Dallas.
you know.
Yeah.
That's why he's got
Not
the
sure if I'm
southern
looking forward
accent
to
and everything.
him coming in, but
Wichita,
ladies and gentlemen,
Kansas,
if
I
you'll
think they're
stay
saying he's
tuned,
from.
We have many more interviews coming up. We'll be right back.
All right, what's the loudmouth saying? And Crusher, you don't know. I've been training for 3 years. So how many more excuses you got? Well, if you've been training for 3 years and you still haven't made a debut in the ring wrestling, there's something wrong. You must not be ready. And you must
Well,
not
you
be any
know-
good and afraid he's going to lose. I don't know what the hell's going on. If you've been training 3 years, you should be in the ring already.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm telling you, this card coming up at the Dri-Dock is going to be.
Yeah, we give it right back to you, Tony. Give it
You
right
know,
back.
Tony, I hate to say it, Tony, you're not even on my level yet.
A rematch of Crusher Crossen going to
Tony
go against
Begley.
Kid Kelsey.
He
The
always
rematch,
tries to get
those of
under
you
my
that know
skin.
that The last match is at the Armory.
More than
little
Ricky
bit of,
even,
interference,
if
but,
that's even
Crusher Crossen
possible.
has got his rematch. Also signed. Pretty Boy Taylor is going to be there. I don't know if Crossen knows this, but he will be there.
Yeah, they wasted no
Also,
time in getting Steve
Dirty
involved with
Ernie,
him
who
again.
is my guest
When
at
Ernie
this
took it
time,
over.
has been
Yeah.
gone from a long
I don't
trip.
blame him. Steve was a
Whether it
talent.
in
He really
Anchorage,
was.
Alaska, that's where
But-
he
He
was. Let's
wasn't-
call him in here
okay.
right now. Dirty Ernie,
I'm gonna
welcome
give the
back to
devil
NWF.
his due.
It's been a long time. Where
Steve
you
was a
been?
great bumper.
Working.
Yeah, and a
Great
good mouth.
worker.
And a good mouth.
Good mouth.
come down. You look a little bare,
But
if I might say, without
he'd
the
stab you in the
chainsaw.
back the first chance he
Something
got.
happened? I know last
Yeah.
time here at the Dri-Dock, the chainsaw was
Yes, he
confiscated
would.
from you.
Yeah, you can't trust. You couldn't trust him. I'm sorry, Steve, if you hear this, but he just wasn't trustable.
To wrestle. That was just
And-
something that I bring on into.
You know, Steve,
yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
bring with me
direct
for,
this at you.
Little safekeeping. Use it if we got some trimmings
You know,
to be trimmed. There's some.
I'm going to
people
be transparent
don't
with
need
you
it
for
all
a
the
minute.
time, no?
I feel you only came back on the podcast because we were talking about the Hall of Fame. You were hoping to get in.
Well, that's why
Yeah, I know. That's what you think, right, Dave?
Yep, and I'm speaking this directly at Steve. And, you know, here's the deal, Steve. The fans know what you and Larry did. You can apologize for it all you want,
I don't even see any
but the fans have spoken.
Well, I know I've seen you in a number of matches.
You know, I'm sorry to word it this way, but they chose me for the Hall of Fame over you.
One comes to mind.
Yeah, they did.
A little bit of it right here.
I wonder if Tony Begley would think he'd be getting to our Hall of Fame. You know, Ricky seems to think he should be.
Well, you know, Ricky thinks he should join you and I on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. This is, by the way, this is more footage from that very first Dri-Dock show that was done in March with the NCWA, and that's that tiny guy commentating, that big fat guy.
Yeah.
And that's what Dirty Ernie would do. He'd come to the ring with a chainsaw. A big chainsaw. Of course, he'd never start it up or anything, but...
Ernie, you got to take the chainsaw. Give the chainsaw to somebody else and let them take it out of here. You can't have it in the ring. I'm sorry, it's not allowed. It's not allowed on the ring apron. It's not allowed in the ring, Ernie. You've got to
I wonder if Wayne could maybe clarify. Does Ernie still come out with the chainsaws, Dirty Ernie? Is it still a chainsaw?
Last time I saw him, he came out with an axe.
An axe?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Tony's chattering. Let's see. Yeah, you missed. You got to go this one first. Coming up 3 years in winter, but for my first 2 years, I have been a referee because we lost our ref for a while, so someone needed to fill in. But don't worry, I'll be wrestling very soon, he says, Dave.
They're going to find a formidable.
And
well, good for you on possibly wrestling soon.
I hope so.
But
I don't care, good or bad.
even so,
whatever they want to take
and even if he hasn't, I think I should be in the
NWF.
What qualifies you, Tony, to be in our NWF Hall of Fame is my question.
You know, we didn't have a referee category.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You'll see it.
Yeah, we didn't. You know, and if a referee was going to go into the Hall of Fame of the NWF, Dave, I think it's a landslide on who it would be.
You're not going to want to miss him along with the other stars in the NWF here at the Dri-Dock.
You know, sorry to say, though, it wouldn't be Rick Pitt.
No, I was going to say it would be. He was the referee that was the, like, everybody. He was ref so many. Granted, he show up drunk and sometimes really screw up finishes, but he was the referee for so many shows. But no, Tony Begley, you see, Tony, you give me a hard time on forward, I'm gonna give you a hard time right back now. I couldn't have a chance to do it when I was with Ricky the other time because we had so much stuff to get through, training footage and everything, and I couldn't. And Tony was just going off left and right with his comments. And
you know, it's like I said, Tony, you haven't even had your first match yet, so you're not even on my level.
Tuesday, October 27th.
I mean, and then when he does, he's probably going to get his ass kicked. You know.
You know, he's probably going to count a lot of lights.
As he should.
Right, ladies
as
and
he
gentlemen,
should.
we're here with NWF
It's part of building
Tabletop.
character in the
To my left,
or
I
in
have
the
none other
wrestling
than Jeff
community.
Dinsmore, close ally to the National Wrestling Federation. And to my right, the former, and I hate to use the word former
And then he
National
says,
Wrestling
me and
Federation
Ricky should be the only two people in the NWF Hall of
Crusher
Fame.
Crossen, who had held the
You know,
belt
I
longer
damn
than
near beat Ricky
anyone else
myself.
in
I
history
probably could take
in the
Ricky
National Wrestling
and
Federation.
Tony in a handicap match. I did handicap matches all the time. I could probably take them both in a handicap match and kick both of them at the same time.
Or, you know, if I ever got the itch to get back in the ring, you know, you and I could do a tag match and take them out.
More than welcome to have it right here at the Dri-Dock.
Well, you know, Sean, we've been listening.
You know, the building's still there for the Dri-Dock, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's a daycare now. I was just up in that area a couple weeks ago.
And that you're not too happy about.
And then you kind of skipped over one comment. Wayne said,
"You two have been going on for a long
Oh,
never seen
the match that I saw that we all
come out with a chainsaw, just an axe. And he must have switched it up to an axe at some point.
There's no love lost between.
But
Does this bother you being your match coming up with?
We got the mini chatterbox going again, Crusher.
Jeff, you know,
if you can't take me in a fight,
it comes to a surprise to me.
you very clearly can't take Ricky either in a fight. What makes you think you can beat both of us? Well, first of all, Ricky, as far as I'm concerned, lost that match. That referee counted 3.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback you on that real quick. Okay, Tony, if you're a qualified referee and you've seen the footage, you have to admit that referee did count 3.
He was trying to do
Crusher technically should have won his title back and brought it back home here to the U.S.
Breaking the rules. Now, I'm not one to break the rules,
but you know, apparently Ricky
breaking
paid the ref off to make sure he didn't lose.
Because I'm playing a game with no rules, and I'm going to start bending a few rules now and then.
Well, it was an NAPW guy, Chris Mercer. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to see the title leave. Who knows? But I know this, Tony.
Of course,
Ricky,
Jason, we've been talking.
You know, we were going to do a shoot match too. You know, Ricky and I are going to go back. The way they do shoots in NAPW is you sit on the ring and you just have your backs to each other, and then you just go, and then you have to turn and you actually grapple. Ricky had multiple times to do that and never wanted to do it with Crusher. Never said, "Hey, let's do the shoot. Let's do the shoot." Nope. Because he knew he would get his ass kicked. And Tony, I don't think if Ricky is afraid to fight me in a shoot, take a card out of his playbook and do the same. Avoid Crusher. It's for your own safety. Okay? For your own safety.
Avoid any of the NWF Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and speaking of which, she says, the U.S. don't deserve the title anymore. It's staying in Ireland. Yeah, the fanboy.
Well, you know, if Ricky does get beat here in April, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, he's got a big match in April in England against Jeff Smith, formerly Mitch the Kid.
You
know, that title will be leaving Ireland if Ricky can't get his shoulders off the mat.
Dirty Ernie, Dr. Dread, Grizzly Stevens.
I mean, that's going to be that's going to be a good match. I am looking forward to that one. I wish I could see that in person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get into the ring with any of them.
But I can't afford to go over to Europe again. That's an expensive trip.
We all have our own places in professional wrestling, and you know, whether that's at the microphone or in the ring.
It's funny. Look at Jeff Dinsmore is smoking a cigarette. I mean, you just don't see this.
Oh, I know.
About some,
I know and he's probably drinking a Jack and Coke there.
No, it's a Dri-Dock. It couldn't be.
Oh yeah.
But
well, that's not to say he didn't sneak a little Jack in himself.
Yeah.
We've all
the reason it's called the Dri-Dock, Dave, is because it's a non-alcoholic bar.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know, maybe that's why Troy didn't want to work any of the Dri-Dock shows.
Nah, Troy wasn't really drinking too much in those days.
Oh, BS.
Not in those days. Not in 1987.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't. I hung out with him every day, Dave. He started his drinking stuff all came later after he met Angie.
Oh no, it was before he met Angie.
No, he never really drank.
Oh, trust me, he did.
No, your memory is screwed up, Troy. Or Dave, trust me, I hung out with him all the time. We never ever drank. Not until the PWA's days.
Oh, he was drinking before PWA. Because there were weekends we'd hang out prior to him and Angie getting together.
It was right around that time, Dave, because trust me, I was with him every single weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. From 1987 through 1988. I know he wasn't drinking. I say that with confidence. I think you just got your time frames kind of screwed up.
Oh, I remember before PWA, him and I.
Yeah, when you say before PWA, you're probably talking 6 months before PWA or whatever. Remember when you ran into Troy again at the Votech? That was in late '88 when he was doing that.
Yep.
Not 87.
Kelsey, Mr. Macho, Slick Steenerson, and
more. We got the little chipper going again.
At 7 p.m. at the Dri-Dock, 786-3375.
Okay, now he wants to be out of character. All right, Tony.
WrestleVision.
So Crusher, I'm sorry for rage baiting. That's exactly. That's a great. Tony, that's a great way to describe it. You're rage baiting. Yes, you are. You're an instigator. I'm sorry for rage baiting. I'll go back to being a normal fan. How do you go about choosing your next NWF champion or next company to work with? It's just a matter of making connections and, you know, so we
finding
kind
out
of
who wants to work with us.
Right, who wants to work with us. And right now the NWF belt is in Europe, so it's going to make the tour, so to speak, make its rounds.
You know, years ago we called the NWF a world title, but it was primarily defended in Minnesota in reality.
Right, kayfabe went all over.
Yeah.
Now,
he's the reason I lost the title.
Now the NWF is going to be a world title.
And the idea is just to get exposure in different promotions. So, like, while it's an NIPW, it's then it has the ability to go to another promotion, spend time over there for a while, then go to another promotion, spend time there for a while. And it's just basically making connections and letting the titles, you know, travel around. That's the idea. Get exposure with it. And then let some cross-pollination take place in the process. So, like, for instance, Ricky's going to England into a promotion that he doesn't normally fight in. That's cross-pollinating.
You know, I mean, who knows? Someday, maybe it'll make his way back over here. Maybe it'll go to Asia. Maybe it'll go to Portugal.
Canada.
You know.
No, we do have affiliations with Portugal, with Red Eagles promotion, and you know, they do make trips to Japan. So
I haven't been really tag team within the last couple of years simply because I've been the
So Tony says it's going to get to him. He wants to get his shot on that belt, huh? So Tony, I'm curious, what is your if you've been training for 3 years, you have a style. What would you say your style is as a wrestler? What kind of wrestler are you? A high flyer? Are you a technical grappler? Are you a chain wrestler? What would be Tony Begley's style? I'm curious.
Consider a tag team partner. You've not had one in approximately 2.5 years.
Or what are you capable of doing? You know, because not everybody is necessarily a high flyer. You know, they,
2 years.
you know.
And to be honest, there's different forms of high flyers. I mean,
exactly.
You look at Shawn Michaels, he was a high flyer, but he could still brawl, he could still grapple, he could.
Yeah.
If I get the world title back, Jason,
I mean, I know they train everybody the same these days, but still, some people tend to go in a certain style, you know?
If, and I don't like using ifs, but if something were to happen, if somebody gets in my way for that title match,
I don't like my interviews in these days. I just do not like them.
Then I will consider a tag team partner.
Okay, here's a response from Tony.
Scrapper, bruiser type fighter, I can do Lucy's, but doesn't suit my character.
On October 27th.
So kind of a scrapper and a bruiser.
By Bad Productions,
so a fighter.
And
yeah.
Scott Dotzler.
We'll have the mobile van out here. It's going to be a great night. You know, I'm excited for it myself.
Yeah, the NWF belt though is kind of cool though. It's like it is. It's a freelancing title. It is not tied to any promotion.
Nope.
It is allowed to be used by other promotions as long as they work with us.
Yep.
And like I said, it just comes down to getting a hold of whoever runs the league, making sure they want the title there for one thing.
Yep.
And as long as they're okay with the title being in their promotion, then they do what they can to promote the belt and promote title matches and that kind of thing. And that's just like NIPW has been doing with Ricky.
Central cable TV,
so,
public access, various channels around the system.
You know,
we urge you to come
but the
in
one thing I will
live.
say
It's
is
truly spectacular. Not only will we have,
you know, it is not a case of whoever the whoever the NWF champion is will be a part of the broadcast at all time, like has been the case with Ricky.
Well, no, Ricky was the co-host before he became the champion.
Right.
However, if the championship changes hands, if Ricky loses the belt at some point, whoever the new champion is, will occasionally make appearances on the show, but is not required to be on the show with us all the time.
Right.
But may come on here and there.
You know, Ricky is the co-host forward, whether he's champion or not.
Correct.
It's all coming up.
Ricky,
October
remember,
27th
Ricky
at the
asked to be on
Dri-Dock in
forward.
Spring
He
Lake
came to
Park. We urge
me
you to
and said, I want to be your co-host.
Tickets will be sold at the door.
And
you know, Jason, but as you were commenting,
because I enjoyed his first interview that I had with him,
Right.
and I knew he was a storyteller and a talker, I knew he would be a good fit for forward, because I didn't have a co-host. Dave didn't want to do forward.
You've seen the programs, you've seen the tapes, you've seen everything.
Well, you know, I mean,
good professional wrestling.
I am trying to work on a family now.
I know, because that would never fly every week. So
right.
I'm going to get the world title back, as far as I'm concerned, and it's going to be the night when
and
see a lot of action with
so
Grizzly Stevens and Dirty Ernie.
You know what I thought would be kind of a fun thing to do one of these days?
What's that?
Have you and Ricky switch roles for a show.
Senior official in the NWF.
So in other words, on a forward it would be you, and on rewind it would be Ricky with me.
Sometimes he's not.
And we'd also
That'd be
like to
kind of fun to
remind
do.
coming up
But I gotta make sure it's the right show, because if I pick one of our early shows, Ricky will just make fun of me the whole damn.
Oh, it's got to be an early show. It has to be an early show.
Oh my God, he'd have a field day with it. Are you kidding?
It would have to be an early show.
A lot of like Grizzly Stevens, Dirty Ernie, Dr. Dread, all the names are up and runners up for that match of the year. And of course, that's kind of.
Or heck, even have them join us for a show here on Rewind.
Right. Tony, by the way, you know, I told you were welcome to come on with us on forward as a guest. And you know, another thing, I always am looking for people to fill in for Ricky, because sometimes Ricky can't make it, and I need to have a replacement co-host on those shows sometimes. So, you know, right now John McCann's done it for me a number of times, but.
And you know, right now my Fridays are kind of spoken for.
Right, but you could make an exception for a Friday once if you and Ricky switched roles. The hard part would be getting Ricky to come on at 2 in the morning on a Thursday.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And if we do it, we'd have to do it in the summertime when he could actually make that happen, when he doesn't have school.
All Pro Wrestling presents WrestleVision. You'll see Pretty Boy Taylor, Crusher Crossen, Dr. Dread.
Or what we
by
do.
the way, Tony, you're still in school, but are you just up late? Because it's like late right now in England.
Tuesday, October 27th at 7 p.m. at the Dri-Dock. 786-3375.
What are you gonna say, Dave?
3 1-hour cable TV.
Or what we do to kind of suit Ricky is
Be there.
for a couple weeks we swap the dates for Rewind and Forward so it can accommodate Ricky.
Oh yeah, that would be the way to do it, wouldn't it?
Coming up
Yeah,
October
that would be the way to do it.
1987, of course.
Um,
we'll be having at the Spring Lake Park Dri-Dock. What are we calling this card exactly?
This is an interesting segment. Let's watch this before we bring in any more comments, Dave. This is a major setup here.
This old little boy here running his little mouth and just flapping his wing.
Well, what exactly is going on? Hey,
Slap me right out of the
what's
chair.
going on here? Somebody get some security in here.
Here comes the folding chair.
Somebody get some security. Come on, let's go. This is ridiculous.
Oh, here comes Grizzly.
Somebody get some security in here. Let's go. Come on.
Grizzly makes the save for Crusher.
Yep.
What's
going on here?
I don't know. The Dion Dallas, Dynamite Dion, whatever. Dynamite Dion Dallas came in uninvited, hitting Crusher Crossen.
One thing I'm getting mighty sick of in this organization is all the back jumping that's going on. Are you all right, Crush? Are you okay? People, I want you to be warned right now. When Crusher Crossen's in the ring on the 27th, I'm going to
I'm
be
sorry, I
in
keep
this
saying
man's
England for
corner.
Tony. It's Ireland.
Whether it takes me getting the manager's license or whatever. He's got enough people jumping on his back. And he's got enough problems worrying about that heavyweight championship match to worry about people jumping him from behind. Crusher, you want me there, I'll be there.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Let me tell you something right now about Mr.
Oh, man.
Boy. Thanks a lot, Grizzly. I gotta thank this guy. If he would have been in there, who knows what would have happened. Would have had to call something. I would have.
Jeff Dinsmore, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on here?
We back jumping, my friend. This Dion Dallas jumps in here, decides he's going to make himself a big name in the organization by back jumping the champ. I call him the champ because, as far as I'm concerned, he's still the world champ.
Well, let me tell you something. I was on the phone with some of the other promoters. You've got yourself a match on October 27th here at the Dri-Dock with Dynamite Dion Dallas. Right here at the Dri-Dock. You have got yourself I don't know, this all took
do this to you, my friend. Dallas, this is directed right at you. You stuck your nose in where it didn't belong, and you thought you're going to make a name for yourself. When I'm not watching this man's corner, I'm going to be in the ring with you. And boy, I'm going to show you
Chris is a good talker,
Northern
Dave.
Oh, yeah.
weapons are all about. I'm going to hurt you, boy. Come on.
Well, that's
Yeah, he's a good talker.
Everybody's bailing out of here.
Let's see here. What do we got? Get caught up on comments
Going
here.
to witness here on the 27th at the Dri-Dock. An old-fashioned whipping.
We'll come back
I've
to
never
this comment
seen-
here.
I have never seen Grizzly Stevens in this frame of mind. He's been in
The
some
guy
tough
in the
matches
middle
before,
looks like a
Jason,
young
but I
Kevin
have never
Owens.
seen him in
Which
this
guy is he
frame of mind.
talking about?
Grizzly Stevens obviously in rage.
You talking about
Not sure.
Park Dri-Dock, very easy
I was
to
in the middle of
find.
all
It's
that.
Near the junction of
Young
what is
Kevin
it,
Owens? You think I
65,
look like
guys?
Kevin Owens?
65 and Highway 10
And our
in Spring Lake Park. Near the
little
water
chirper,
side, I'm sure
Tony
everyone
Bagley.
knows where that is.
Do you need a co-host? Well, that's where you would be a guest.
Highway 10, very easy
Oh,
for you,
unless
ladies and
you.
gentlemen.
I think
We'll
what
be
Tony's
right
saying is why may make it a
dare go
three-way.
away.
Yeah, we're always open to things. I wouldn't be
And
opposed to it.
the most recent comment.
Yep, just up late in Ireland. Yeah, these young kids, though, they're used to staying up late. I mean, we used to do it too, Dave. Remember, we'd be up to 2, 3 in the
Oh.
morning on school nights all the time.
Oh, that was an early night. I mean, it kind of transitioned over into my adult life. I've worked overnights now for 15, 20 years.
Hey, speaking of Slickster, there he is, Dave.
Yep.
Mr. Macho and Slick Steenerson.
Here's Gary Gelby along with Ken Boyer
The
back
crowd
at
did not like
ringside,
these guys.
where
You hear the
you're watching
boos.
NWF World Championship
Oh,
Wrestling
Troy was
at
an
its
awesome
best.
heel.
This match
Oh,
was the
God, he
fifth
was.
match on the six-match
Great,
card,
a
not
great
counting
hand
the
in the
big
ring, too.
18-man tag
Oh,
team
yeah.
at the end.
I mean,
It's
I
the
could
NWF
never,
World Tag Team
ever
Championship on the line.
imagine
Mr.
Slick
Macho
being a
and Slick
babyface.
Steenerson versus
Macho's
Tom
pretty good
Jerry
himself.
Tyler from Texas City,
But
Texas.
but
Bringing
Troy,
it
though,
up to
watch
starting
him
to
bumping
announce
this
people.
in
And
this
here they come,
thing.
Tom
As he
Jerry
takes his
Tyler.
bumps,
This
watch
match
him
is
how
underway.
he's just good. He's
Ken Boyer had to
good.
take off momentarily, and joining me now at ringside is Crusher
Troy was
Crossen.
really good.
Crusher, what do you have to
And
say
for any of our
about
longtime
this match?
fans,
Oh, you know, I'll tell you this much.
you'll recognize Tom and Jerry
Kelsey
Tyler.
was an old friend
The
of mine
Barbarians.
for 2 years.
Yep.
2.5 years I trained him.
Bandar and Conan. They're just going by Tom and Jerry
you know,
Tyler
we went on a
now.
title
But
match, and I said, okay, but all I know is I didn't bring in no foreign object. Kelsey did.
and
I
then,
didn't hit the ref.
Jerry, Conan, the one there,
And
the
I'm
crew
upset
cut.
about it. All I know
He's
is
already
I'm
in the
not welcome.
Marines.
I'm
He had
gonna
already
take
went to
care
the
of
Marines, but he
business
was here on leave, so he was
There you
able to
have
do
it.
this match.
Look at these two guys here. They wrestling
So
the world's champions.
that's
over
why
here.
Jerry
They-
left the
I know
Barbarians.
Conan
Yeah,
the
the guy right
Barbarian
here
and
because
Tom
he had
Taylor,
to,
they
he
used
was
to be
going to the
Barbarians. They're
Marines.
former world
So-
champions
That's why
as
in
it
the
is.
October
Women's senior
18th
star
card, they
champions
dropped
as
the
it is
tag
right
titles
here.
to the Rock and
Right
Roll
now, the
Express.
defending champions
Yep.
are Mr. Macho and Slick Steenerson, and defending or going
But
up
Troy
against them
Steenerson,
is
he's a
Tom
kind of a
and
big
Jerry
bone
Tyler.
kid.
Crusher,
I don't want to
I
say
really think
fat
you
because he
got,
wasn't. He was really. He was
in that last
strong.
match,
Oh, yeah.
Kid Kelsey.
Strong as
I
not.
thought that was going to be a battle
Just
royal, no
big boned, I would say.
disqualification for the
But
title.
he could move like a
But
cat.
they changed the rules
And
and Rick Fitz, the ref just
he
missed
did
that
this,
one.
what we called a
Here's the deal,
timber
it was a
fall. I've never seen
disqualification
anybody
wave,
do
which
it like
means
he
if I would
does.
be
I'll show.
disqualified,
He's
the
going to
title
do it in
change.
this
That's the
match
only way Kelsey
where he
would
gets
go
hit
against
and he
me.
goes like
And I
a
said,
like
okay,
a
they
like
must have had this
a
thing
tree
planned
getting
out
chopped
because,
down and it just goes straight
you know,
down.
I should have seen it.
That's
Yep.
how Troy
It
will
did
bump,
seem
and
like
I'll show
that
you
was
when it
the case.
happens.
Kelsey
He
knocked out
gets.
Rick Pitts, woke him up just in time to see
I'll
you
point it out.
struggling
But
with
wait,
Mick
watch how
Weller
he takes his
for
when he does
the
that timber. We used to call it the
machete.
timber
Well,
fall,
you
and
know,
it
Weller's
was
just
so
another
good
headache
at
of
it.
mine, and
The only
Weller
thing I
the
can
others, and I'm
compare
gonna
it
do
to
business with
is
him later.
And Weller is walking
that
around
front
the ring
bump
right
that Ric
now
Flair
as
would
we've got
take.
the NWF
But only he's
World
doing it
Tag
as a
Team
back
Championship
bump.
on the line.
Yeah.
Slick Steenerson in the
You'll
ring
see it
right
here.
now for the Mr. Macho
Or
Slick
I'll show you
Steenerson.
when it comes up. It's not quite
Now,
yet.
there may not
I
be
know
a
it's.
whole
Oh,
heck of a lot of people
it'll
that
be
do
obvious
other
to the
cards
people.
today.
I know, but the clip they go to the
Luis,
camera,
but,
and
there
if
seem
you
to all be
blink, you'll
enjoying the
miss
card
it.
here, and that's the
So I
most
got to make
important
sure I
thing.
call it
And we
out.
hope
It's
you're
coming
enjoying
up
this one
here.
at home on Public
I think it's
Access
Jerry
Channel
that hits
33,
him,
part part of your
Conan
cable TV
or
North Central
Jerry
system.
Tyler, whatever he's going
He's
by in
calmed
this
down
thing.
a lot from that match. Yeah, this has been on. This is
Mr. Macho pretty good in the ring though.
See.
Yeah.
Thing with Macho and Steenerson is they.
I know that
don't do
Mike
anything
told
to
me
win.
that
That's the way they go. With Weller in
because
the
I had
corner,
lunch
guess
with
they
Mike
have
a couple
an
like
easy
last year
advantage
when I
at
went back
that,
home. Mr. Macho, he said that they were rough as hell with him in this match.
You can't do a closed fist here in the NWF. It's got to be open hand.
Oh, Mr. Macho strikes his Macho pose. He's far above Macho.
Yeah.
Weighs in at a meager 129 pounds.
All right. I don't know if he's got it. Whoa. There you go.
The normal atomic drop, how they do it nowadays, right?
Big move by Tom and Jerry Tyler. Which one is that, Crusher?
Okay,
now watch out! Watch out!
Tyler. Jerry Tyler's in the.
That was a stiff-ass shoulder.
Right now, Tom has just touched in, Jerry.
All right, now I think that timber fall from Troy.
Move on Mr. Macho.
Because Troy tries to come into the ring.
And flying off the second rope is Jerry Tyler. And Jerry's now in the ring.
You know, a neck and snap.
One of those situations are all hell. By the way, I'm commentating with Gary Gellaby right now. I just noticed that.
That hurts. And I'm talking on experience.
Press slam.
He's going to do a power slam here. Whoa!
Press slam, not a power slam. Crusher, come on.
Mr. Macho.
Yeah, quite
calling that a power slam. I know better than that.
On the mat.
I just pulled a Tony Begley.
A Slick Steenerson in the corner waiting to get tagged in. He hasn't had a chance. Macho's been getting
and that's the thing about Jerry is he is both Tim and Jerry. They're deceptively strong.
What's he saying? He's distracting the ref, basically.
Tim in there right now. He was the roughest of them all. Like he,
things like that Weller does just to get that.
If you had to define stiff in wrestling, you got to mention Tim Holland.
He had to be banned from the ringside.
Well, I mean, like I said before, he worked well with him.
Another headache.
That's you, Dave. Everybody else, he was stiff as hell with. You can ask any of them.
But you know, prior to the NWF, Tim and I had a long history.
Tom Tyler.
Right.
He's got an arm bar on.
Pain and Mr. Macho.
Now watch Jerry. I think he's gonna. You'll see that. There it is, right there.
Look at here,
boom! Just like a tree.
Right on his back.
Right on the side of the apron where the spring is not. You talk about a hard ass bump.
Yeah, this is.
Second hardest part of the ring.
Oh my gosh! And Troy he would do that all the time. I remember him and Kelsey had a match, and he did that timber fall like that at least a half dozen times in the match.
Goodbye.
You know who Troy reminded me of? Was kind of like a King Kong Bundy, kind of,
yeah.
Not as big,
they
but.
knocked heads over here. Ran right into each other.
You know, one of these days, I hope when we do the Fred Moore days, you can find the footage where Troy and I actually tagged.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that show you're talking about.
We better get some security here.
Yeah, that was a Fred Moore taping.
That's concrete floor.
Let's see. Tony Begley says, Crusher, does anyone from NWF know me from your knowledge except Ricky and John? I know Johnny, the announcer. Johnny McRae is familiar. I think he even pointed you out on the podcast at 2 Royal Avenue when you were commenting.
Nick Weller's
So he knows of you.
A reverse backbreaker there. He got him in the abdominal section. Good move.
Tom Tyler.
I don't know. I don't recall if we talked about it. But I remember talking about you to anybody else. But I know that John obviously knows you and Ricky.
Off the ropes comes Mr. Macho.
Reverse hip snap there.
Beautiful move by Mr. Macho on Tom Tyler.
Didn't you say, Tony, that you're thinking about training at NWF though? How would you manage that? Like if you're down in Dublin, that's a long way to go up, to train up there.
Steenerson, yeah.
I'm just curious. I know they got the bus service and that goes up there. That'd be a lot of time just to get up there and back. So this is like a 2-hour drive.
Tom Tyler.
Yeah.
Where's Jerry Tyler at, Crusher?
He's right here in the corner.
Okay, he's back. Ready to be tagged in anytime Tommy can make it over there.
Now,
Macho Man Kiss. That's what he called it. It was just a DDT.
That's the Macho Kiss. That's good. If Tom Tyler can go to this, he's survived.
Now there's that pin that Ricky always does. I call it the perch pin. Macho did it.
About ready to pin Tom Tyler. Slick Steenerson comes in.
I was trying to tell Ricky, here's an interesting story with me and Ricky. I said, Ricky, I want you to do arrogant pins. Like I wanted him to do really arrogant pins with me at first, like just mocking pins. And Ricky was like, I would never do that. I'm not going to pin like that. I'm going to pin to win. I'm not going to pin to make light of it. So I don't want to, Ricky did not want to do that. So I said, all right, fine, do that perch pin you do. He goes, well, yeah, I do that for photo reasons, but I don't, it's not meant to mock you, but he goes, I said, Ricky, it's a mocking pin. Do it. That's good enough for me. Because it's kind of like a half-ass pin, right?
Like the Mississippi River.
Yeah, that's why Macho did it just now.
And he has a big mouth at the end of it. And I'm gonna get my
Tony's
hands on him yet.
commented back
Collects a
again.
lot of silt in that mouth.
I wouldn't train weekly, but I
Well, as you
wouldn't
can see, he
mind a
must be filtering what
seminar
he says
here
with
and
that,
there.
whatever it is around
And
his face.
I'm
Either
only
that
2 hours
Crusher is so
away
ugly, we can't
in
see him without that disguise.
Donegal.
Well, he comes from Australia.
Well,
That's
it's
all
pretty
I know
much like
about him.
that. Must be around Dublin
That's all I
area.
want to know about him too.
I don't know the geographics.
Right now in the ring is
Yeah, they have
Tyler
seminars every
and
now and
Slick
then.
Steenerson flying back in as Mr. Macho. Now Tom Tyler's in.
Here we go again.
Laying on
You missed my seminar,
some more
Tony.
control in this ring.
Kind of.
Who's the legal man?
Wednesday night, I talked to everybody about promos.
Slick Steenerson and
It
Jerry
was been like
Tyler.
a promo.
and
I had to
Rick
talk
Pitts,
to. I got about a half an
all.
hour with all the guys and training there, and
We've
I
got one heck of
went
a main
over how to
event
do
coming up here,
promos and
as
build
I
up your
happen
match
to know.
promo wise
The unknown
on social
stuff's
media
been
and
left.
everything. And
Right now,
use me
I've
and
had
Ricky
just
as an
about enough of
example.
this. I'm supposed to be
Foreign object to Crusher Crossen.
a shirt. I'm hurt. Give it back to him.
Pain won't do it.
Yeah, Slickster, if he just would have stayed with, he went to the GWA with me and him, and Slick Steenerson, and if he would have stuck with it, man, he would have went, he could have been going places. Because Sean Waltman was there at the same time, and look where Waltman went.
Yep.
That could have been Troy too.
And Troy would have had a faster track because he was bigger.
He's bigger. The only thing Troy couldn't do was talk, but either could Waltman.
No.
So that wasn't a big deal.
Rematch, I should say, of the title defense. Kid Kelsey going against the challenger at this time, Crusher Crossen. That's all coming up.
Jeff had that radio voice, and this is what you want in an announcer. You get to have this
NWF Wrestling
demeanor to him, right?
Right.
And boy, we're going to have a good time here on October 27th. Get your tickets at the Dri-Dock. You won't want to miss it because what just took
This show's
place,
almost
I'm
done
gonna
here.
try to
We got a few minutes
Dean
left.
Dallas in here, if he will, right now. He's a little bit excited. We got a few minutes. What provoked you in such a? That was a despicable thing he just did. The man.
Down here now, boy.
Hey, isn't that a Roper shirt he's
I got some
wearing?
things to say. You out there, what's his name?
Grizzly Stevens.
Well,
I'm
man, you
not
got your mouth
sure.
with me now. You just listen to me. We're gonna get things done right.
I know,
We
it's
do it down
nice.
south.
I know
We
what the
don't-
hell it
we
is.
don't mess around with this little boy. Whoever.
What you just pulled, this was his interview
Quiet,
time.
quiet. I'm talking now. You don't interrupt me, boy. I want to say one thing, fat man. You got your shot
Fat
at me.
man.
You're gonna see what I can do. It ain't just talk either, boy. We'll get it done right, fat man.
Ran out of here in quite a hurry. Or I should say, thrown out of here.
Yeah, I was a good talker too.
Yeah.
Out of time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, we don't
Okay.
have any more time.
I just saw another comment pop in.
Hang on before you do it though, because we're gonna just get to the end of the show. Then we'll get the comments into.
Don't miss it. Get your
Okay.
tickets. We'll see you then. We're
Because
out
this
of
is
time.
a
Thank you
wrap.
for
Like
that,
this is the
everybody.
end. Now there's the picture perfect dropkick, Ricky.
The drop kick that dislocated the jaw.
So supposedly. Slam, the no slam, no belt match.
Yep.
This is all Anoka Armory stuff. There's Kelsey and Macho at the Armory. It's Invader 1 I seen, Invader 3, Ice Dragon.
That's Brooklyn Park.
That's Brooklyn Park, yeah. All right, that's enough. That's all the wrestling. That's just going to go to graphics. All right, what's Tony saying? Nah, I'm up north. Dublin is a lot more south, and it's like 3 hours from Belfast, but I knew you were doing a training session. I 100% would have joined just to whip your ass. Well, yeah, I did. I mean, I did. That day, well, there was a day Monday when there was a funeral with Nathan and John, and I co-trained the kids class, and then I trained with Ricky and everybody that night in the adults class. Like I just trained with them. I went through all the things they were doing, and
yeah, both time Crusher's been out there. He's done seminars.
yeah, somewhat training or whatever with them, and but it was fun because I got to talk to all the guys about. Let me get this out of here because this is done. I got to talk to them about promos, and it was because in the indie business, let's see if Tony knows the answer to this. In the indie business, what is the purpose of doing social media promos? There's one objective, one main objective that you
And I'm
do
keeping
those
my
for.
mouth shut.
Yeah, but it's a primary reason, and it may not be what you think, though, Dave. But there's one objective, and that is that why you do these. And so, and you should. Every indie wrestler should be doing promos on social media when they have matchups and stuff. They should be doing promos with your opponent. Tell it, I always say do it like a story, like me and Ricky do. You tell a story with your promos back and forth, just like the interviews did back in the day.
Right.
But the objective is the same as it was back in the day, why you do promos. And so let's see if Tony even knows the answer to that, and then we'll tell you what it is. A lot of people make the mistake, though, and I'm going to see if Tony makes the mistake of what the objective is. So see, we're testing Tony here. We're testing him. But I haven't seen his answer.
I haven't seen it come in either yet.
This thing is like slow with comments too, though. Like, so maybe he did answer and it just hasn't shown up yet. I don't know.
We apologize, Tony, if you've answered and it hasn't popped up yet.
But anyways, I did this. I'll just tell them more about what I did. So I did this seminar on promos and talking about, because when you do a promo needs to have three things: a beginning, a middle, and an end. And a lot of people, when they do promos, a promo is like, and just like a story, a promo should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And your ending of the promo is what we call a hook. It needs to hook the fan. And so a lot of people, when they do their promos, they make the mistakes of not having an ending. They ramble or they do some kind of word salad, and then they don't have a good hook. And they kind of just wasted their time, because if you don't have a hook, what was the point?
Yep.
So, and there's other people who try to do promos for social media and they fluff it up with music and graphics and make it all pretty and everything, but their messaging is horrible.
Right.
And so,
it's why Stone Cold came up with, and that's the bottom line.
Right. A tagline. Or, a promo should really, a tagline is going to hook the fans. So like Ricky's hook with me was the NWF is now my brand. That's a hook, because that is like pissing everybody off, right? It's showing arrogance.
It makes everybody want to see him get his ass kicked in the ring.
Exactly. So, I think Tony's afraid to answer my question. No, I think the answers are coming. It's just the damn thing. I don't know why it's being so slow, but these comments do come in eventually. I would think.
I mean, the weather's nice here in Minnesota.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why.
I mean, it's like the next few days we're looking at 50
I'm
degree
seeing
weather.
comments on YouTube. I'm just not seeing them showing up here. So I don't know why. If guys are commenting and they're not coming through, I apologize, guys. I don't know. It's this dumb StreamYard is being delayed with this right now. I don't know what to tell you. See if there's any settings that'll speed it up here.
Oh, I just saw a comment come in from Tony.
Oh, he said he sent it in 5 minutes ago. So yeah, they didn't. Oh, wait, now they all popped in. Okay, so here's this question. To get yourself over without waiting for the booker's permission is my thoughts for promos. That is kind of what I thought you were going to say. And that's the benefit of doing promos, but it's not the objective.
Right.
The benefit is to develop your character. But the objective is very simple: to sell more tickets.
Right.
Was that what you were thinking, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like interviews were back in the day. The only reason they did interviews in old school wrestling was because to hype up the show, to sell tickets.
Nowadays they only do generic interviews. Whereas back in the day when we were watching wrestling, when we were wrestling, say like a worldwide superstar like Hulk Hogan, he would go into a studio and do specific videos for specific markets.
Yeah, for each town. And you would do it for that area. Like here, for instance, he teamed up with Mean Gene Okerlund and did the tag match. That was only in our market. But my point is, though, what I was trying to tell the guys is, don't rely on the promoter to do all the posters and stuff and build up your match, and then you just you show up to wrestle. You should do your job on social media and put your promos out there to develop your character in selling more tickets for the show. And if everybody does that in the indie business, you get a really good show because you get a lot of interest. People and you want to do this right. When you put it on social media, don't just do it as a story that disappears in an hour a day. Put it up as a reel, collaborate with your opponent so it goes on both of your Instagrams or Facebooks, and then share that to your story feed every week or every 3 or 4 days, whatever. Just keep it fresh. That's the kind of stuff I went over with everybody. Just kind of like social media 101 and doing great promos and using body language and making your promo interesting. And don't be so typical. A lot of guys do promos and they say the same stuff. Like I mentioned this. Heenan did this best in his interview. He said, people do say the same stuff. He's going down. Whoa, Dave, get tickets for this. We got to see this, right? The way Heenan said it was classic, and he's right. It's like that is just everybody says that. So you want to be unique. Find a unique style and something, and get a character to yourself, and get a personality.
Find something unique to yourself to help sell tickets for your match. Because here's lesson number 2 for you, Tony. I'm sorry to the rest of the crowd to direct this at Tony, but to anybody aspiring to be a pro wrestler, the more you promote your matches, the more tickets you help sell, the more promoters will want to use you because you know how to sell tickets.
And believe me, the promoter, that's the other person you collaborate with, is the promotion and the promoter, so they know you're doing it. And they notice that, and they will tend to use you guys more that do that kind of stuff because they know they're going to do their job.
Right.
Now, Tony's got an NWF question. Real question is, everyone is wondering about NWF. Where was the parents when all this NWF stuff was happening? Well, I know the answer, Dave. And I know you do.
Oh, yeah. Like when we do matches in the garage or in the backyard, Sean's mom would be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or she'd be at work. When we did armory cards, my mom was in the crowd watching.
Yeah, they were either in the crowd or
they were helping out at the show.
They were helping. Like, they would ask me, though. They weren't coming. They it's really weird, but they would come up to me and say, "What do you need help with?" Okay, the moms, for instance, Kelsey's mom, my mom, other moms. You know what? Could you run the ticket counter for us and collect tickets? Because we would sell a lot of tickets at the door. So we had to have somebody there selling tickets, collecting money. So I'd have them do that because I don't want us to do it.
Right.
So I'd have them do that. I'd have other parents act as security to the ring and just guide, walk the wrestlers to the ring. Because we have 300-400 people there. We want to have somebody with the guys going to the ring.
Right.
And stuff like that. Or I'd have them run the concession stand when I started doing our own concessions. I'd have parents help out and sell concessions. Just that kind of stuff. All the working bee stuff that you need people doing. Selling program guides. All that kind of stuff.
Right.
They were watching and stuff. Here's the thing. This is what the parents knew. They knew we weren't trying to hurt each other.
Yep.
We never were trying to hurt one another, and they knew that. Which is why they didn't have a problem with what we were doing. I know it sounds hard to believe, but they really didn't have a problem with what we were doing.
And I guess part C or D or whatever you want to call it, back in the 80s, we didn't have those things called helicopter parents that were hovering right over us.
No, the 80s was a whole different generation.
The thing, Tony, you don't realize, when we were kids, we'd get up in the morning, we'd eat breakfast, and our parents would tell us, go outside and come back when the lights are on.
Right.
At night.
And
we could run and do whatever we wanted.
And we were doing pro wrestling, whether we had a ring or not.
Right.
I remember training, like Terry Kosnopple, for example, lived in the apartment complexes that you lived in, Dave.
Yeah.
Over there in Coon Rapids, the courtyard is where he got most of his training.
Yeah.
just
courtyard
because
over there by Target.
Yeah. That's where we did a lot of the training for Terry anyways. We were doing suplexes and everything right on the grass because we didn't have the ability to set the ring up at the time. We didn't need the ring for a lot of this. But getting Terry ready, so that way when he did get thrown into the ring, then he was ready to go, you know? And so, yeah. And then Terry did awesome, man. When he was put into a match, because of all that training in the courtyard, he was ready. He looked like $1 million in there. And so yeah, I just used wherever I could. But not like that, as kids, we loved wrestling anyway, and just roughhousing and stuff like that. That was a common thing. Like nowadays, they don't even let kids roughhouse on the playground or anything in the recesses or anything. You can't do it. Teachers yell at them. Now you can't do that. You can't fight. They don't let them do that at all. But for us, it was a regular ritual. In grade school, you always were fighting.
Gizmo, and then we'll go back to that conversation.
Crusher, sorry, I just got here. I thought the show was tomorrow, but listening now, it seems like your parents really supported you guys. Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah. I mean, my mom would drive wrestlers to the arena if they needed a ride.
Yeah.
You know,
they were pretty supportive of us. They didn't they were always, like they kept an eye on it. Remember, we were doing a television show, Tony. So like we were doing a cable show that they all could see. So all the parents, if they ever wanted to see what we were up to, they just tuned in every week.
Yep.
So they were watching us that way. So they
and our parents, and the thing is, our parents knew we weren't getting into drugs.
No.
They knew that we weren't getting into gang violence. They knew.
No.
They knew that we were.
Some of us smoked, but the parents didn't know.
Right. It's one of the hidden dirty secrets of the NWF.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony says, for your training, did you ever get real training by a pro wrestler or just do everything yourself, then try teaching kids who also couldn't wrestle?
Obviously, Tony's a new...
Yeah, he doesn't know the story.
Tony's a newer
viewer. We started out self-trained and doing it ourselves. We called it self-training back then, and that was very common. A lot of pro wrestlers self-trained. It wasn't unusual. But I eventually got smartened up with Eddie Sharkey and got actual training, which I then brought back to all our guys. And my training with Eddie Sharkey started in mid-'86, in the summer of '86. And I spent about 6 weeks training with him. So did Steve Engstrom. And he got us all. And what Eddie did is he seen where we were at. And surprisingly, I would say 80% of what we were doing was right.
Yep.
The other 20% Eddie had to correct us on. It wasn't as complicated as it is today, Tony. Old school was very simplistic. I always say that. It wasn't, for instance, I'll give you an example. If you've been training 3 years, you know how you do a wrist lock, right? You turn the wrist so that you're actually cranking it properly, right? Like you're turning a proper wrist lock, right? The guy's going to do it to you.
Yep.
Back in the day, a wrist lock, you just held it. You didn't do any of that stuff. You just held it like this. Not like this. You just hold it like this, So what I'm trying to say is it has evolved to get a lot more technical than it ever used to be.
I saw a video of former WWE wrestlers Maven and Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
And they commented on wrestling is a very old sport, which it is, and people keep trying to reinvent the wheel. They keep trying to discover new ways to do old moves to make wrestling look flashier, fancier.
Yeah.
When in all reality, for a century, the old school stuff worked.
Bottom line is this. It's a fake fight.
Yeah.
You're emulating that you're fighting each other, but you're really not hurting one another. How you get there and do that, everybody gets hung up on doing it the right way and doing it this and doing it that and proper this and proper that. The bottom line is the art of professional wrestling is the act of illusion. Make it believable, make it look real, but it really is not. It's just, it's you're not in there for real. And so as long as, and the guys that were really good back in the day were the ones that could do that the best, selling the best, making it look like it's real and stuff. And some guys were better than others at that.
You know, I mean, I hate to keep going back to this story, but I remember hearing stories about how you and Charlie went out to the East Coast and did a wrestling festival. You know, someplace a lot of people thought we had no business being. But, you know, some Hall of Famers saw our booth, started asking questions, and they got intrigued by what we did.
We were right next to Abdullah the Butcher, and he was fascinated with it.
Yeah.
King Kong Bundy was another one that was fascinated with this.
Didn't you say Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Greg Valentine was also very interested. Bobby Heenan, Nick Bockwinkel, they all, and not Bockwinkel remembered us, you know, which I thought was crazy. In the elevator, he talked about, he goes, I remember you guys. Yeah.
And that's something if Nick Bockwinkel remembers you.
Yeah. We got to remember nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody was doing what we were doing in the 80s.
I mean, there were people who attempted.
Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but not doing a regular thing, booking shows at Armories and all this, that, and everything else. A little bit of that started in the 90s after us, but not in the 80s. Now, Tony brings up an interesting thing. For the technical style, I don't think America has any chain. Chain wrestling was always around in British wrestling. It's what made it great. But yeah, yes and no, Tony. Here in the AWA, we had Billy Robinson. He was one of the trainers with Vern. He brought chain here. So we had definitely seen chain wrestling. Not as complex though as you guys do it over there, but definitely. Right. I mean, Billy Robinson was as chain as you can get, and
yeah.
But chain wrestling is as simple as a proper doing headlocks and headlock reversals and stuff. That is chain. So it depends what you want to where you want to classify where chain starts and ends. And we did plenty of headlocks and stuff.
Headlock into
a hammerlock. We did lots of hammerlocks.
Headlock into hammerlock or headlock into head scissors.
Yep. I used to do the thing, and I did it to Ricky in the match, where I take his arm and I do the leg drop to the arm, then put him into I would do a wrist lock, but then I modified it now in the match. But yeah, and I would do that all the time. Or I would drop down on the arm and hold the arm, right? And then the wrestler would always try to start to get up, and then and he goes back down again, right? That's all technically chain. So, technically. So it's not like we weren't oblivious to it. A lot of people in Europe get confused that American style wrestling is all about spots. And I do agree that it's become more of that in recent times. But if you go back to the 80s, when Dave and I were watching wrestling growing up, it was a lot more wrestling. It was a lot more technical style wrestling than what it was. Vern Gagne, the AWA that we were all grown up with, he was all about wrestling. He hated the glitz and glamour side of it. He wanted it to be like a wrestling match. That was Vern's thing. So, but at the same time, as us kids, it was fun. I loved the high flying stuff, so I would always do the top rope stuff, and
I was a guy who never left the ground.
Yeah, everybody had a different style, and that's what I miss about the 80s. The styles were so definitive. You had brawlers. You had, and that's all they did. You never see a brawler do a drop kick or anything flying, but they would. You got
to take that back. I mean, Brody wants them.
Well, no, I'm saying like most brawlers, like, a typical brawler wouldn't do it, right? But some could. There were guys that could do a little bit of everything.
Right.
But there were like brawlers, like I'm thinking like, I don't know, like King Kong Bundy was a classic example of a brawler.
Right. Well, so's Bruce or Brody, but.
Right. But Bundy, like, you didn't see him do drop kicks and stuff.
No.
But Blackwell could. So some of these guys could do that stuff, but well,
I mean, what a lot of people don't believe is Andre the Giant used to throw drop kicks.
Well, when Andre wasn't huge, like people don't realize when Andre first started out, he wasn't as big as he is,
Right.
He was actually, he'd go off the top rope and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we could talk that stuff all night long.
Oh, yeah.
That's, by the way, that's what Ricky and I are going to start getting into more and forward, is more like wrestling talk. We want to try to get more into like talking about the business and out of character and stuff like that, because we find it's a little more interesting conversation. We'll still do our character a bit though. Like he's going to always start out calling me schmucker and this, that, and the other, because he likes to. Like I say, Ricky comes out of his shell and becomes the tough guy that he is when I'm far away. But when I'm with him, he's a good boy, just like Tony Begley. Just like Tony Begley. Yeah.
See, unlike them, and sorry for my phrasing, the way I'm phrasing this, but like with me. Okay, yeah, I'm here in Minnesota. You're in Utah. Yeah, I'll talk shit to you here on the show. But the difference between Ricky and I is I'll talk shit to you here in person.
I'll also drop you on your ass too, in person.
Thing is, you never have.
I've never had to, because you've been so far down the totem pole, Dave. You've never been in my league. Dave always asked why he never got a title shot, because he was never in the top 10.
Well, I was doing my job at putting people over.
By the way, guys, this is I did that thing on Instagram saying we're gonna go live, and I did it in front of the NWF bell. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yep.
This is a little ring hammer, ding, to ring the bell. Yeah. I was gonna do the picture with the hammer, but it didn't show up enough. So, anyways, we're probably to the end of the show. I'm thinking we're kind of running late. Sorry, Gizmo, you guys didn't make it all in this time. They thought we were going Friday, but
nope, we are Thursdays.
We will be on next Friday. I got to talk about what's coming up on the shows before we go off air. So this is what we got coming up. Let me see. Get rid of that comment. This is what's coming up on the future shows. So let's start out with next Friday. We're going to have Tina Louise from Saffron Gear is going to join us. She's been on with us before. Ricky and I are looking forward to talking to her. She's going to talk about making Crusher Crossen's retirement gear that you see me in right there.
Yep.
And Tina made the gear for me. She's a gear maker. She makes gear for all sorts of people all over the world. So she's a great gear maker and does really good work. And so we're going to talk to her. And she was very, very intrigued with our match and my coming out of retirement. And so it'll be a great conversation. Looking forward to having Tina. And maybe she'll talk a little about Two Cold Scorpios podcast too, because he's got a new podcast now that started up, and I think Tina knows a little bit about it. Maybe she can share some light on that. So that'll be a good conversation. And then also we'll talk about maybe some new gear she's made for other people too that she's got, that she's going to show us, whatever pictures she can provide me. So that'll be a great show. And after that one, in 2 weeks, we're back with studio taping 116 from the Dri-Dock. And that looks like Crusher Crossen against the Mystery Man. Could this be? Yeah, because last time I got busted open, right? So this is going to be my revenge match with the Mystery Man for busting me open with that steel chair. This is the grudge match, Crusher versus Mystery Man. And you can see Mystery Man on the bottom with Crusher on top going for a 3 count, potentially. So there, Crusher gets his revenge. Good thing, Rick. You know what, Ricky? It's a good thing Crusher's retired, because otherwise I have to get my revenge on Ricky Henry too.
Well, it was billed as your retirement, so
Dave doesn't want me to pull a Ric Flair.
No. See, I'm about honor and tradition. You say you're retiring, you retire. The shit that Flair's pulled, Terry Funk is pulled.
Well, yeah, I agree. I'm going to say this though. I was so grateful to be in there with Ricky for that match, for my last match. I was thinking this the other day, for me to be able to be in there with Ricky Henry for my last match was like a dream come true for me, because he's so good. He's so qualified. So it was like, he really made the match for me.
Yeah.
And Ricky always tells me, Crusher, you held your own. You did your part. It takes 2. But I'll tell you this, Ricky's very talented. Ricky can work with anybody.
Yeah.
He's so good. So, and I'm proud to be able to be, to share the ring with him for that match. So I will say that.
And it's like I've said before, my last match happened in 97. I'm content with that.
Yeah.
Dave,
we gotta wrap it up here. We're almost at 2 hours. I just realized we went a little extra long tonight, folks. So hope you didn't mind us gabbing away.
But like you said, we're wrapping things up here, and you'll be back on next week. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep. And we'll see us. Yeah, we'll be on Forward. So join us for Forward. That's always on Fridays, a little bit earlier in the day. And so then we'll talk to Ricky about his thoughts on his upcoming match with Just Mitch, because we didn't get a whole lot of time to talk to him about that. So we'll see how it goes from there. And then we'll have some news on our next guest for Forward, which we've got set to go, and we'll announce that. So
look
for that next week. So remember, Gizmo and guys, that'll be Friday next week. Friday.
Yep. And then the following Thursday, you get me again.
Yeah, and then we'll be back to Thursday after that. So, yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time we're live.
Yep. See you in 2 weeks.